"You crazy." I said, "You're crazy. I'm not shooting no commercial with Larry." So I said, "Okay, what, we're gonna shoot it in LA?"
I would never went to LA to film it.
Well, where are we gonna shoot it?
Magic Johnson just revealed the exact moment that destroyed the greatest rivalry in sports history, and it wasn't retirement, championships, or time. It was Larry Bird's mother, Georgia Bird, serving him lunch in her kitchen in French Lick, Indiana. This is Earvin Magic Johnson. 5 NBA championships alongside Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on the Showtime Lakers. 3 Finals MVPs. 12 All-Star selections. The man who saved basketball alongside his greatest enemy. When Magic speaks about Larry Bird, you listen, because for 7 years, these two men genuinely despised each other. Not for show, not for cameras. They bought into a hatred so real that Pat Riley told his Lakers players never to help a Celtic off the ground. But here's what nobody understands about the Magic-Bird rivalry. The thing people think made them great, their competitive fire, isn't what made them great. What made them unstoppable was the fact that they were the exact same person wearing different jerseys. The first time Magic saw Larry Bird play, he couldn't believe what he was watching. This was the summer before their legendary NCAA Championship showdown. The World Invitational Tournament brought together the best college players to face international competition. Magic was there to scout the competition, and what he saw changed everything.
And so he was Steph Curry.
30 shots in a row, all net. Magic was witnessing something that defied every stereotype he'd grown up with about basketball.
Yeah, boy.
But the real shock came during the actual games. Kentucky had Jack Givens, the player of the year, a dominant force who was supposed to showcase why SEC basketball was superior. Larry Bird destroyed him.
And Larry Bird, Jack Givens.
6 months later, these two forces collided on the biggest stage college basketball had ever seen. March 26, 1979, Michigan State versus Indiana State for the NCAA Championship. Indiana State entered undefeated at 33, and Bird was on every magazine cover. Sports Illustrated had crowned him college basketball's king. The television ratings tell you everything about what America was watching. 24.1 Nielsen rating, 40 million people in 18 million households. The highest-rated basketball game in American history. This wasn't just a game. This was a cultural moment that would define the NBA for the next decade. Magic's Spartans had the perfect strategy. Double-team Bird. Let Greg Kelser dominate everywhere else. We figured 2 stars could beat 1, Magic explained. It worked. Michigan State won 75-64. Bird shot an uncharacteristic 7 of 21 from the field. Magic scored 24 points and introduced America to something they'd never seen before, the alley-oop.
That was
But here's where the story gets insane. The NBA draft separated them into the perfect storm. Bird had been drafted by Boston a year early in 1978, but returned to school. Magic went first overall to the Lakers in 1979, the league's 2 most storied franchises, connected by a legacy stretching back to Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain. The ultimate rivalry machine was born. Professional basketball in 1979 was dying. 17 of 23 teams were losing money. The NBA Finals were broadcast on tape delay at 11:30 p.m. Players stayed in Holiday Inns. The sport was sliding into irrelevance while baseball and football dominated American attention.
who would ever. Yeah, right.
Magic's rookie season epitomized everything wrong with the league's priorities. He led the Lakers to the NBA Finals, became the first rookie in history to win Finals MVP, only the 3rd player ever to go from college championship to NBA Finals championship. His reward? Losing Rookie of the Year to Larry Bird by a vote of 63-4.
I was pissed, man. I was mad.
Magic admitted,
I'm like, never be friends. Right.
this wasn't manufactured television drama. This was institutional hatred passed down through decades. Pat Riley made the rules crystal clear to his Lakers. I don't want you to pick up a Celtic if they go to the ground. Red Auerbach had built that same mentality into the Boston Celtics culture. This was tribal warfare disguised as basketball, played out at Boston Garden and the Forum. For 8 years, they battled. 1984, NBA Finals. Celtics beat Lakers in 7 games at Boston Garden. Bird wins Finals MVP. 1985 NBA Finals. Lakers get revenge in 6 games at the Forum. Magic wins Finals MVP. 1987 NBA Finals. Lakers dominate in 6 games. Every other year, one of them was hoisting the championship trophy. The league built its entire identity around their mutual destruction. Magic averaged 19.5 points, 7.7 rebounds, and 11.2 assists in finals games against Bird. Larry averaged 25.3 points, 11.1 rebounds, and 4.6 assists alongside Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish. Head-to-head, Magic held a 22-15 overall record, including 11-8 in playoff games. These weren't just games. They were psychological warfare sessions broadcast to millions. But in 1987, everything changed with a phone call from Converse. The shoe company wanted both players for a commercial. The location? French Lick, Indiana, Larry Bird's hometown. Population 1,800. The place where everything began for the kid who worked 40 hours a week in 7th grade just to help his family survive.
The mom,
Magic recalled. Magic had no idea he was about to meet the woman who would end their rivalry forever. Georgia Bird was born Georgia Marie Kearns in 1930. She married Joe Bird, a World War II and Korean War veteran who struggled with demons he couldn't defeat. When Larry was in high school, Joe and Georgia divorced. In February 1975, when Larry was 18, Joe called his ex-wife to tell her the family would be better off without him. Then, he shot himself in the head with a shotgun. Georgia Bird raised 6 children alone in one of Indiana's poorest counties. She worked 2 jobs, sometimes 100 hours a week, to earn $100. Then she'd have to buy groceries that cost $120. She took $50 loans from the local bank just to feed her family, paying them back the very next week. This was the woman who greeted Magic Johnson on her front porch in 1987.
She's bringing out all the ball players.
Magic couldn't believe what he was hearing. The mother of his greatest enemy had just declared him her favorite player. But the real revelation happened when they sat down to eat. For the first time in 8 years, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird saw each other as human beings instead of enemies. They weren't the Lakers superstar coached by Pat Riley and the Celtics legend coached by K.C. Jones. They were 2 poor kids from small towns who used basketball to escape circumstances that could have destroyed them. James Worthy witnessed the transformation firsthand. It wasn't until they did that Converse commercial that people started to realize they weren't enemies, just 2 very tough guys who hate to lose. But here's the part nobody wants to talk about. The cost of that rivalry nearly destroyed both of them physically and mentally. Bird injured his back in 1985, shoveling crushed rock to build his mother a driveway. That injury plagued him for the rest of his career. Magic's body broke down from the relentless pursuit of perfection. Both men retired earlier than they wanted because their bodies couldn't handle what their minds demanded. The psychological toll was even worse. When Magic announced his HIV diagnosis on November 7, 1991, Larry Bird broke down in tears. Rick Fox, who was a Celtics rookie at the time, watched Bird cry like a child. The man who had shown no emotion during the most intense games in basketball history was sobbing for his former enemy. The numbers prove what they accomplished together. Between 1979 and 1991, Bird and Magic combined for 8 NBA championships, 6 finals MVPs, and 6 regular season MVPs. They transformed a dying league into a global phenomenon. By 1989, NBC was paying the NBA $600 million for broadcast rights, up from $88 million just 7 years earlier. But their real legacy isn't championships or statistics. Their legacy is proving that greatness requires an equal and opposite force. There would be no Magic Johnson without Larry Bird, Magic has said, and vice versa. Magic Johnson is now worth $1.2 billion. Larry Bird lives quietly in Florida, rarely making public appearances. Their post-NBA lives couldn't be more different, but their bond remains unbreakable, forged by a mother who understood that beneath the uniforms and hatred, they were both just her boys. Magic recently told Shannon Sharpe something that explains their entire relationship. This wasn't just a rivalry. This was a love story disguised as a war, and it took a mother's wisdom to help two grown men understand the difference.